Hello everyone, I am Dr. Vyshnavi, the ENT faculty. I am here to discuss about temporal bone pneumatization and cellular pneumatization. So we know that there are various cell tracts that are present in the temporal bone, and it's quite often difficult to remember and understand these tracts. So I'm going to make it very simple for all of you. Also about the types of cellular pneumatization and their importance. So just let's begin with the class. So here we classify the temporal bone pneumatization into two types. So temporal bone pneumatization can be either an anterolateral type of pneumatization or a posterior type of pneumatization. So in the anterolateral type of pneumatization, you can see that the pneumatization or the air filled space is going into the squamous part of the temporal bone. So if the pneumatization from the temporal bone extends anteriorly and laterally into the squamous part of the temporal bone, then we call it as anterolateral type of pneumatization. In the posterior, we have got the posterior-medial type of pneumatization, which is subdivided into the posterior-superior cell tract, the posterior-medial cell tract, the subarcuate tract, the perilabyrinthine tract, and the peritubal tract. I will be discussing in brief about each of these cell tracts. So the first one is your posterior superior cell tract and the posterior medial cell tract. So how are these organized? The anterolateral was going towards the squamous temporal bone, whereas the posterior medial cell tracts are going towards the petrous pyramid. So this is your petrous pyramid. So these cell tracts go towards the petrous pyramid. Now they extend medially through the antrum and go towards the petrous pyramid. The posterior superior cell tract lies above the level of internal auditory meatus. So if you see here, if this is your largest air cell in the mastoid or your mastoid antrum, it goes medially from there and extends up to the internal acoustic meatus. So you can see that there is an air filled space above the internal auditory meatus. So this is your internal auditory meatus. Above the level of internal auditory meatus, if you have an air cell tract, that is coming from your posterior superior cell tract. Now posterior medial cell tract also goes in this way, but it pneumatizes the medial part of the petrous pyramid. So the petrous pyramid medial part is pneumatized, that is called as your posterior medial cell tract. Now what is a subarcuate tract? This subarcuate tract goes from the mastoid antrum. Okay, if it goes anteromedially, so far we were talking of posteromedially. We had posterior superior and posterior medial cell tract. Before that we talked about anterolateral cell tract. Now this is your anteromedial cell tract, which is passing below the level of superior semicircular canal. So this is your superior semicircular canal. It passes below the superior semicircular canal and it pneumatizes the petrous apex. So if you see, the posterior superior and the posterior medial tracts will pneumatize your medial part of the pyramid. Okay, whereas your subarcuate tract will pneumatize your apex of the petrous bone. Okay, then in the anterior part you have got the peritubal tract, which I will be discussing next, and also this is anteromedially. Anterolaterally we have the pneumatization which goes into the squamous temporal bone. Now the perilabyrinthine can be divided further into a supralabyrinthine cell tract and an infralabyrinthine cell tract. So you can see here from the mastoid antrum, if it goes above the superior semicircular canal towards the petrous apex, we call it as the supralabyrinthine cell tract. If it is going below, so it is parallel to the supralabyrinthine, but it is going from below the labyrinth and it is pneumatizing the petrous apex, we call it as the infralabyrinthine cell tract. And we have a cell tract that goes from your mastoid antrum, pneumatizes through your middle ear up to the level of your eustachian tube. So these two anteriorly towards the cochlea and towards the eustachian tube will be your peritubal cell tract. Okay, so labyrinthine we divided into supralabyrinthine and infralabyrinthine, and peritubal are towards the eustachian tube. We can also see here This is your subarcuate tract, which goes below the superior semicircular canal, not above, and goes towards the internal auditory meatus. So this is your subarcuate tract, which I had told you before. Okay, so I think you have understood about the cell tracts which are there in relation to the temporal bone. Now, infralabyrinthine portion of the pneumatization is further subdivided into three types. What are these three subdivisions of the infralabyrinthine portion of pneumatization? So, if you see A, B, and C, this is your labyrinth. Below that, you are seeing the pneumatization or the air cell tract extending up to the medial or completely till the petrous pyramid. So if it is extending completely, then it is called as type A type of pneumatization. If it is partially extending but not completely till the petrous pyramid or towards the apex, then we call it as partial type of infralabyrinthine pneumatization. And in certain cases, there is no infralabyrinthine pneumatization at all. It ends infralabyrinth just below the labyrinth and does not extend any medial. So there are three further subclassifications of the infralabyrinthine pneumatization. Now we describe mastoid pneumatization into sclerotic, pneumatic, and diploic. So the prior ones were temporal bone cell tracts. Now what I'm telling to you is the mastoid pneumatization. If the mastoid is completely bony without any air cell pocket, then we call it as sclerotic type of pneumatization. If there are air-filled cavities within the mastoid, then we call it as pneumatic type of mastoid or a cellular type of mastoid. And a diploid type of mastoid is you have certain air filled spaces and you also have bony cavities, bony bony blocks. Those are called as diploid. So it's a combination of both pneumatic and sclerotic that we call it as diploid type of mastoid. Mastoid pneumatization on the CT scans are further categorized into four types. So at the level of the ossicles, that is at the ice cream cone appearance which you get between the malleus and the incus, you draw a vertical line 45 degrees to this vertical line in the antero-posterior axis. You draw three lines across the sigmoid. What are the three landmarks for this sign? If this is your sigmoid sinus, one anterior to the sigmoid sinus, one middle of the sigmoid sinus, one posterior to the sigmoid sinus. Now, if you see that the pneumatization of this air cell is extending only up to the first line, then you call it as non-pneumatized mastoid or poorly pneumatized mastoid. If it is extending between the first line and the second line, then you call it as partially pneumatized mastoid. If it is extending beyond first line and the second line into the third line, then you call it as pneumatized mastoid. And completely pneumatized is it's extending beyond all the three lines. It is called as completely pneumatized mastoid. So depending upon the sigmoid sinus also, you can categorize the pneumatization of mastoid. Now, this petrous apex pneumatization are also further subclassified into four types: Group 1, Group 2, Group 3, and Group 4. So, in Group 1, there are no air cells present in the vicinity of your inner ear. So, this is your inner ear. There are no air cells in the vicinity of your inner ear. Then we call it as Group 1. Now, if you see group 2, less than half of the petrous apex is pneumatized medial to the labyrinth. So, if this is your labyrinth, you see this is 50% pneumatized or 50% is not pneumatized. So, less than 50% is pneumatized. Group 3 is more than 50%. So, if you see this, more than 50% is pneumatized. Group 4 is complete pneumatization of all the petrous apex, that is called as group. So this is how you classify the petrous apex pneumatization. So first I told you about the tracts. The second one I told you about the mastoid pneumatization, radiographic mastoid pneumatization, and this is your petrous apex pneumatization. Petrous apex pneumatization also can be classified in relation to your carotid canal. So you see this is your carotid canal. There is no pneumatization or air-filled spaces across your carotid canal. Here in the second type, you can see that there is partial pneumatization or air-filled spaces around the carotid canal. And the third one is medial part of the petrous pyramid is completely pneumatized medial to the carotid canal. So this is another way of classifying your petrous apex pneumatization. Now coming to the cellular pneumatization. So I hope it's clear about the mastoid and the temporal bone pneumatization and the petrous apex pneumatization. Now I will be telling to you about cellular pneumatization. So the cellular pneumatization we tell on the basis of the sphenoid bone. So if the sphenoid is completely bony and it does not have any air filled space, then we call it as a conchal type of sphenoid, which is completely bony. Okay, that is your conchal type of sphenoid. What is pre-cellular? If the pneumatization extends up to the anterior wall of your cellular turcica, then you call it as pre-cellular type of pneumatization. Okay, so that is up to the anterior wall of your cellular turcica. Now, what is cellular type of pneumatization? If it is extending up to the posterior wall of the cellular turcica, then we call it as cellular type of pneumatization. Okay, and what is post-cellular? If it is extending beyond the posterior wall of cellular turcica, then you call it as post-cellular type of pneumatization. So this is on the basis of pneumatization of the sphenoid sinus, you classify the pneumatization patterns of the cella. Also, you will look for the sphenoid sinus pneumatization in relation to the pterygoid process and the greater wing of sphenoid. So if you have to draw a line from the Vidian canal. So you draw a line from the Vidian canal to the foramen rotundum. Then you classify the pneumatization of the sphenoid sinus. Okay, this will form a lateral recess if this pneumatization goes into the pterygoid bone. Then this is forming your lateral recess. This is a one type of pneumatization of the sphenoid. The second one is pneumatization extending up to the greater wing of sphenoid. So this can extend into the pterygoid or into the greater wing of sphenoid. This could be a second type of pneumatization. The third type of pneumatization is it could extend into both pterygoid and the greater wing of sphenoid. And the fourth type is it goes into the anterior climate process. So these are the various types of pneumatization of sphenoid in addition to your conchal, pre-cellular, and cellular. The importance of this is if you have a completely bony sphenoid or a pre-cellular type of sphenoid, these bony landmarks that I've seen or the anatomical landmarks that you see like the optic canal, the lateral, the left and the right carotid canal, the cellular, the planus sphenoid, the clival depression. So once it is air-filled, these prominences are visible very, very clearly. Otherwise, it is very difficult to identify these landmarks and to do a transsphenoidal surgery to the base of skull like pituitary surgeries or CSF leaks or planum surgeries or clival resection. So it becomes difficult. So these landmarks are very easy to identify if you have a good cellular or a post-cellular type of pneumatization. Conchal type of pneumatization is a contraindication for transsphenoidal surgery. If you have to do it, then you need definitely a navigation system. Otherwise, you may traumatize vital structure like the optic or the carotid because these prominences, like how they are visible right now, won't be so clearly visible in a conchal or a pre-cellular type of pneumatization. So I hope this helps you. And if you want to listen to more of my videos, you can go to an academy where I have free videos on the special class platform. So you can go to the Unacademy special class Unacademy, go on to subscribe for my name, and then you can go to special class and you can get an access for more free videos of mine. There are also paid classes. The option is absolutely yours. You can take a call for yourself. Thank you. Bye bye.